Hello there, Energy Arts family. He's doing it again, you guys. How many times am I going to fall for this? You got to wonder. Probably every time. I'm such a sucker.
How many times is Brandon going to have a trip? They say he's planning a trip to Asia. I think he's going to be tripping everywhere in so many ways. Some say he's tripping now.
Well, tripping on what exactly?
I don't know, but hey, I just thought this was cute. Let's just give this a little look. See.
Are you in need of any assistance today, sir? Are you in need of any assistance today, sir? Are you in need of any assistance today, sir?
Always great to get a helping hand.
And that's just so stinking adorable.
Isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, seriously, how can anybody believe that certain people are actually making any decisions when you really, really look at the situation logically? And so now we see the Ukraine invasion is no longer imminent. According to the White House, the U.S. is no longer using the word because it created an unintended message, says Jen Psaki. Yes. Or wait a minute. Oh, I thought that was Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, gosh. We keep getting that confused, too.
It is so confusing.
There's no unseeing that.
No, there isn't. You can't unsee that. And there was a little meme we showed that it's just 4 little steps away between the two.
Or just change the hair. Just take that wig off and have the short brown hair, and you have a Zuckerberger.
Yes. Meanwhile, though, we do have the UK military warning of EEARTS attack from space. Such an event would be a quote-unquote permanent kill scenario. New report cautions exo-atmospheric NUKE attack is what they're calling it. I think if the public realized exactly how much and what exactly is orbiting the planet, it might make some knees weak, and also might stir an awful lot of questions as to our reality.
It sure will. I mean, but it's all gonna come to the front at some point. The great apocalypse is underway.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Meanwhile, we do have Russian and Belarusian troops conducting joint exercise. Yeah, these drills, they've been non-stop. Is this just basically creating an energetic banquet for fourth density beings?
You know it is. They're just enjoying the heck out of this stuff.
Yes, and meanwhile, the U.S. is going to deploy warship and fifth-generation fighter jets to the UAE in a show of force after an escalation in the conflict in Yemen. And again, many people probably don't even realize there's a conflict going on over there. But yes, if you really document and look at all the conflicts that are going on around the globe, it's just nonstop. There's 2 major businesses that never stop, and one of them is, basically the MIC, making the weapons of war, and then the other thing is, taking care of everybody that's sick and ill afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, there's just one thing after another, those that are really benefiting from this horrid stuff.
So we see new U.S. missile offer to Russia revealed. Russia has expressed concern that the American Tomahawk missiles could be deployed in Poland and Romania. And so the U.S. has said that they're willing to allow Russian inspectors to make sure they're not there in Poland and Romania. And again, when we really look at it and think about what's our taxpayer dollars going to, so much conflict, so much war, so much chaos, so much havoc, so much death, so much disease. And again, your taxpayer dollars, your dollars represent your time. So, think about your time at work and think about who you're really working for.
Right. It's supporting not the team that you want to be supporting. And I think this is where everything really falls apart, and it's so unfair because the average person, especially if you're listening to this channel, you want peace.
Does he want peace? I don't know. He looks kind of sober there. kind of reminds me of Maxwell Smart on his phone, right? On his shoe phone. Hey, Chief.
It's adorable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, he's taking a break again from wrestling those bears. And so we see Putin and Johnson discussing NATO expansion and the Ukraine. This is the same old stuff. It's the same old stuff we keep hearing until, they decide to actually trigger something. And again, when they decide to trigger something, there's going to usually be a reason. And usually it's because the narrative isn't going along the way that they want it to go along.
That's right.
And so there's going to be a crucial meeting taking place before the Olympics. Many people have been watching the Olympics for months saying, that's the timing. That's the timing. Well, we'll see. And they will have a crucial meeting. Maybe they're going to say, hey, is it go time? Are they going to say, hey, good luck, and that's about it?
Maybe they're going to say, where's the tea and crumpets, and that's it.
I like crumpets. I haven't had crumpets in a long time with butter and strawberry jam.
You guys, I don't think I've ever had crumpets.
Oh, we're going to have to find crumpets for you that are GMO-free and organic. That might be an impossibility. I don't know. Does anybody know of a place we could get non-GMO organic crumpets? And the UK halts army training for Inclusivity Day. Tens of thousands of British troops will pause drills to reflect on their differences. Well, maybe we could do that before we start wars? Before we start arming other countries to fight proxy wars? Maybe we could actually get people to resolve their differences? Hello?
Well, that would only make sense in a normal world, but we're not in a normal world, nor do we have normal leaders that do normal things that make any sense. No, there's quite an agenda.
Well, because that would take a lot of money, which again, equals power and control away from certain industries, which, again, dominate this globe. So, again, so much is just for appearances. And here we see MP asked Trudeau to apologize to truckers, says he wore blackface more times than he can remember. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with this as well. We've all seen these really cute signs and stuff, and little kids, and we could feel that there's a unity as we see that sign right there, United Against Tyranny. There is a unity that's starting to stir. And again, from our perspective, we are nothing but consciousness inhabiting a vehicle. Now, recently I had to go and I'm going to have to re-up the auto insurance. And it was amazing because, I asked another company that I'm not dealing with at the moment to give me a quote. And they knew like the last 6 cars I've owned.
One you didn't.
And one I didn't, which is bizarre. I've never had a VW Golf. I don't know how they put that in there. I have nothing against VWs. But it's just showing you the world that we live in. All your info is out there. Everything is watched. Your phones turn on sometimes when you don't turn them on. Sometimes they turn off. We were just playing a message that we got from the G-Fed and kind of analyzing it before making this video, and it kept turning off. And I don't know if it was Cindy's energy, because Cindy, when she goes into any sort of office, all the machinery goes haywire with her energy, especially if she's a little bit upset or nervous, like when you're going to get your tooth drilled, something like that. Every single dentist office she goes into, it's like the computers crash, everything goes offline. It's just amazing.
And the x-ray machines don't work, but the most interesting one was when I was on my way to the dentist office with you and the windshield just cracked.
Yeah, that was a bummer. That was a huge bummer. She was all stressed about it, and here you go. We go out and the windshield cracks. Yeah, we have powerful emotions and we have powerful intent, and when we're coming online, starting to recognize what we can manifest, when we start getting together and unifying, because there's billions of us. There's not billions of the powers that be. It's so important to get past everything that they use to keep us divided. So Switzerland's going to basically start easing all the restrictions and going to try to make things go back to normal. It's funny, isn't it, how all these countries, Switzerland, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark, all the Scandinavian countries there are all dropping their restrictions. But then you still have countries like France, Spain, Italy, Greece, and Germany on the opposite side of things. And it's the same thing in the U.S. too, to perhaps maybe a little bit lesser degree, or maybe not. But like, this lady says here, you could always choose in the case of, where am I going to go vacation? Well, I'm not going to go vacation where they're going to, where it's going to feel like I'm stepping into Orwell's 1984. We're learning a lot about our politicians, our system. We're learning a lot about ourselves. And we see the Ottawa City Councillor is demanding the government seize that $7 million raised in that GoFundMe by the Canadian truckers. Oh, yeah. It's, again, a ploy that we would expect. Make note of the names of these people. Mm-hmm. Remember this, because if they somehow get reelected in a landslide, come on.
I know. I mean, all of these things are coming to a head, and I think it's unfortunate that so many good people that are doing things now, they're going to be wrapped up in some kind of punishment. But that's what this system is about. It's about covert narcissism and punishment.
Matthew Fleury, the Ottawa City Councillor, announced support Wednesday for the government to launch a legal challenge to seize the remaining GoFundMe donations that have been collected. Yeah, just remember, and we just got to make sure that these people never hold office again. Right. Because if you want real change, you got to really make notes of what's really going on. And here we see the Ottawa police say they might need to call in the military on the truckers. Whoa. Again, at some point in time, and we've gotten that this happens all the time in the Kali Yugas because history repeats itself. Really, when does it end? It ends when all those people that have been enforcing the will of the elites refuse to do so. And then we're pretty much moving on up.
Yeah, we are. I mean, that's really important that we keep at this. I mean, we have to work daily and kind of give ourselves that inspiration daily to keep moving forward, because this is kind of like a long, drawn out, exhausting journey, but we can do it together. We can get through it together.
And so they say that Facebook has banned the rapidly growing Convoy to DC 2022 group from its platform after it gained some 137,000 members. Again, we want to get out of the system. We want to stop supporting those that are not supporting humanity. And we do see Facebook shares plunge more than 20% on weak earnings. Big forecast miss. Oh, there's a little sniffles somewhere. Yeah, and over 90%, 96% rate of what. Mm-hmm. The Army's going to begin discharging the 4% who refused. Well, and there's a lot of people that could read into that. We've talked about, what's this world going to look like in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years? Do you know there were remote viewers? This is going way back to the 90s. I remember seeing a declassified paper, and I tried to find it again. I couldn't find it. But back in the 50s, I believe it was in the 50s, the government was remote viewing 100 years in the future. And they wanted to see what it looked like around 2050. And what they found was there was hardly anybody on the planet. It was like hardly anybody, on the planet as we see now, 7.7, 7.8 billion. Yeah, it was basically just small tribes of people, basically living in a tribal manner in pockets and, living more in harmony with the land and off the land. And, you could deduce what we're saying here, with the situation. And the president of El Salvador says, he's asking the question, was the destruction of American cities a deliberate plan? This is the president of El Salvador, another country. And, you could look at the infrastructure, just the infrastructure. If you go abroad and you compare the infrastructure we have in most of our cities, it's pathetic. And, of course, we have that big infrastructure bill, But, again, there's so much in there that's not related to what it, why will they put stuff in there that has nothing to do with, the naming of a bill? They tuck it in there. This is just such a fat-laden, for lack of a better word, pat you on the back, good old boy network of, it's just a club. It's just a club to them in so many ways. The control club, the powers that be club. I don't know what you want to word it. Give us some suggestions.
Well, I like to call it a racket.
that works.
Yes.
So we do have a solar flare that's capable of disturbing radio communications that may have already reached or will be reaching soon. This is from an M1 solar flare. There's a lot more to come. Again, the sun is triggering our DNA. The sun is a relay from, God with a big G, source. And it's all about righting the wrong that we see. And this is, again, why the controllers, they only have so much time left. Because we're waking up. You cannot keep putting the same, again, the fool me once,
yes,
fool me twice, shame on me, fool me once, shame on you. Shake, rattle, and roll. There's been mysterious booms around San Diego like all year. Even going back to June, there's more still going on. Now there's a lot of military activity going on as well that they're saying, and it could be sonic booms. And then we, of course, have seen some interesting UFOs off the coast there too. There could be portals opening.
Yeah, most definitely. There's going to be a lot of things coming up, I feel, that people aren't going to understand, but we always have our trusty scientists there with vocabulary words to fill in these things when there's like a portal being opened up. Well, they got a fancy plasma name for that.
Well, if we got 15% of the population still trusting the mainstream media, we're making progress. Mm-hmm. Now, when we recognize that most of the scientists that give us the science get grants, again, that come through these same corporate authorities that are regulating what we can say in the first place and make financial gain on certain things, and are creating, an ever-growing disparity with the billionaires class and the rest of us. Again, it's just like trusting the mainstream media when you get down to it. As we know, NASA never a straight answer. The USGS BS service, downgrading service there. People are catching on. By the way, the Earth is spinning faster now than it was 50 years ago.
Wow, who's the math whiz who figured that out?
Right? Well, I don't know. It's probably some government official again, and it does, though. It really does feel like time is speeding up. We're hearing that from everybody. Now, they're talking, such a small fraction that it's barely noticeable. But the reality is, it feels like time is changing. Does it not? What do you guys think?
There's a lot going on, and it does seem like lately, boy, we open our eyes when the day starts, and it just flies by so fast. So what are you guys experiencing?
So we have a second Earth Trojan asteroid. This is the second one that we know of. So these are asteroids that are basically captured by the planet's gravity. They're not coming in to burn up in our orbit or create havoc and destruction at the moment, but they are like another satellite that's circling around us. So they've discovered the second one. And, it wasn't too long ago we just discovered, too, that the moon is in Earth's orbit. And we see here, researchers find evidence of cosmic cataclysm 1,500 years ago at 11 ancient sites. The Hopewell culture is an interesting one as well. they basically are, talking about the mound builders. And I've been through Ohio and some sites there. To me, I feel giants there. I feel giants. And I felt that giant energy over at Judicola Rock in North Carolina. I did a video on that. And on the Devil's Courtyard, which is also in North Carolina. Oh, there's such a unique energy and vibe that you can sense with these beings. And I'm getting some downloads through the crown chakra talking about that. But there was some sort of airburst that affected an area bigger than New Jersey, set fires across 9,200 square miles between the years of 252 AD and 383 AD. This coincided with a period when 69 near-Earth comets were observed and documented by Chinese astronomers and witnessed by Native Americans as told through their oral histories. Pretty fascinating. And, this gets me all thinking, too, about, again, all those bodies. If you look closely, there were so many giant bodies that were discovered, 1800 to, 1910, somewhere in that range. They were always digging up giant bodies, 7, 8, 9 foot tall, giant bodies, often with long red hair. And, we've did a video before talking about a cave in Nevada that was known to house giants, and the natives there ended up setting it on fire out in front, and they got rid of the giants that way because they were giants that had a certain taste for a certain type of meat, if you know what we mean.
Right, and I remember we went to YouTube jail for that or something.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised, but they were really touchy about their giants. I wonder why. And here we're talking about a comet impact 13,000 years ago that might have reset ancient civilizations. We've talked about this event. Again, they're not 100% sure when, but, roughly somewhere between, maybe 11,700, 13,000 years ago. They say there was a massive comet that fragmented and impacted Earth. And what we've gotten is that, this was, those you-know-who's, that ANN, people there that we get the wiki on.
Yep.
The Anunnakis.
Yep.
And it's interesting, too. I mean, this is related to those stories where they say, Enlil's done with humanity, let them get destroyed. No, we got to save some. And then this was the time that we have gotten from the guides, too, that the moon was brought into place. And this is when the Earth lost its, straight axis and went to 23.5 degrees. And you got to wonder, with so many of these ancient sites that are lined up astronomically to certain stars and positionings for marking the solstices, if kind of what they're talking about is this remembrance in so many ways of when the Earth was more in harmony and balance and was not tilted the way it is.
Right. I mean, that's really important that we get back to that balance with the planet, because she's going to be able to tell us where is a good place to go when these changes are happening.
So this Younger Dryas event, it took out so much life. And this abrupt change in the Earth's climate is defined by the so-called Younger Dryas theory, which marked the start of an abrupt decline in Ice Age megafauna, leading to the extinction of around 35 different genera of animals in North America alone. Not all the animals went extinct. It's believed that this period also marked the abrupt decline among different cultures around the globe, including the Clovis culture in America. It's now seen and widely accepted as leaving a profound imprint on many cultures and starting a kind of global reset. Are we not in a global reset right now?
Right.
History repeats itself.
Over and over.
So if you're hungry, you can eat cattails. Did you know that?
I love this idea. This is so cool.
We used to burn them, and they would, I don't know why we did that, but we would just set them on fire, Not setting fields on fire, but pick one and set them on fire.
Like a hot dog on a stick.
Yeah, I don't know why the kids used to call them punks. Do you ever hear of that?
I haven't heard of that. No, just cattails.
Maybe it's a Connecticut thing.
Maybe.
But yeah, they usually grow to about 9 feet in height, and they're actually edible. The bottom white stalks, they say, taste like cucumbers.
Interesting.
And if you cook the stem, the flavor resembles corn on the cob. It's actually pretty nutritious. So the rootlets, the young roots, are edible. They look a lot like spaghetti noodles, can be used as a pasta substitute in recipes. Cook the roots. You could cook the young tips, the leaves, and the main root spurs. And I'll give you guys, the link to check it out. See if you want to give it a go. But just saying, in times of real trial and tribulation, it is good to know what's around naturally in your area that might be a food source.
Right. What is edible? Is that grass or those bushes over there going to make you a nice salad?
Yeah. And we do want to thank our patrons, you guys. We can't do it without you. Thank you so much for your support. Do check out Medicinal Foods, link at the top of every video. Use the coupon code EEA and get a discount. It does support the channel. And do check out evolutionaryenergyarts.com and all the things we do, including the different services that we offer. And usually about 2 weeks to get scheduled. So as always, guys, stay prepared. Keep putting out the positive vibes. Keep sending your energy to the planet, because the planet does need it. We all need it. People are waking up in droves. We got to keep that momentum going.
Absolutely.
God bless and namaste.
Namaste.